Hey DC hopefuls, it's Tommy Peavyhouse here again. For those of you tracking, last week I went live with my first out of 3 videos about why applications fail. So tonight is video 2. We're going to expand a little bit more, and then I'm going to tell you guys about what's coming up next. So for those of you who did not check out the first video, I would really encourage you to go find it here in the group, or if you're watching this via email, go find the email I sent a week ago. But we talked about my journey from moving to Washington, D.C. with huge hopes and dreams of working in national security in 2009. Yet by 2013, I found myself having applied to over 350 jobs and only gotten 3 interviews. I'm massively in debt with a master's degree at that point, and it isn't making any difference at all. I've paid resume writers, I've done it all, but my applications continue to fail. And it would take me another year to really understand why they were failing and turn my life around, and eventually land 14 interviews in 12 weeks, break into my field, which I thought was impossible, and my life has just completely looked 100% different. My career took a total turnaround over these last 11 years, and it was really the inspiration for DC Hopefuls. In the last video, I kind of told you all why building a career purely based on applications is never going to work. How we're competing against hundreds of other people. We don't even know if the job is real. And we're always going to lose out to somebody with that direct, perfect experience. They're always going to be the less risky hire. So we have to make a turn. We have to make a turn towards networking and building those real relationships so that real people who care about us can vouch for us to those people who can make the decisions. Because that dirty secret I shared with you in the first video is that most jobs you can learn on the job. Most jobs that people are hiring for, what they really need is someone with those intangibles. Are they hardworking? Are they kind? Are they adaptable? All those things that they know they need that really don't come out in a resume, that you really can't figure out in an interview because everyone's going to say they have those qualities. So in a lot of ways, we can be a gift to that hiring manager by getting to know them and having people who know them vouch for us to show them and let them know that we're actually not a risky hire. Sure, maybe I don't have the years of experience you're looking for. Maybe I have never worked in this field, even though that's what I've studied and I've always wanted, but you've gotten to see, hiring manager, my intangibles, all these other things about me, and so I become this known commodity to you. Anyway, I do a better job in the first video, so check that out. But I wanted to make sure you all knew that it was just not a Tommy thing, that this didn't just work for me. Because when I got inspired to create DC Hopefuls all those years ago, I had slowly learned through going and speaking at universities and just helping people through people I knew that I was not alone, that there were other people out there struggling with these applications, trying to have these careers of impact, whether it's in politics, public policy, national security, advocacy, whatever that field was. I just kept meeting more and more people. And our Facebook group, in a lot of ways, is proof of that. I mean, at the time of me making this video right now, I think we have close to 9,000 members. And just the vast majority have told me that you struggle with applications, that it's just not working for you. So I wanted you all to understand that it's not just a me thing. It's a system thing. If you are not hearing back on your applications, or you're not building that career of impact you had envisioned, you almost need to stop blaming yourself and turn that focus and anger towards the system and the things that we've been told to do. And that's what DC Hope is about, is questioning these terrible techniques and approaches and adjusting and doing something that works. And so for proof of that, I'm going to put a link in this video. It'll be up above me in the description. I got to wait till I'm done making the video. And it's going to be a link to a video or a post I made a long time ago that talks about some amazing DC hopefuls. It talks about Bree, it talks about Elliot, it talks about Tiffany, it talks about Begum, who all came into DC hopefuls with no experience in their field, with some serious barriers in front of them, not having a work visa to work in the United States, living over 1,000 miles away, still stuck in their hometown in the middle of the country, having only ever worked retail. But yet all of them made it happen. They made it to DC, and not that that's always the goal for everyone, but for them it was, got jobs in their field and are absolutely thriving because they learned how to put away these applications and turn their focus on the people in their lives and how they could actually build a real invested network versus going to a bunch of events and messaging strangers on LinkedIn. And I know you're hearing this and you're thinking, oh, cool, I'll check that link out, but That's not me because, unlike these people who maybe it worked for, I'm shy. So, like, networking is scary to me. I'd rather just apply online. I don't know what events to attend. I don't have my elevator pitch. There's nothing really to pitch people on. I feel uncomfortable with it. I'm not that impressive on paper. I don't know the right people. The list goes on and on of excuses I hear from you on. I know they don't feel like excuses. I know they can feel legit. But the reason I call them excuses is because that would have applied to all those people. Bree, Elliot, Tiffany, Bagoom, myself, and hundreds of others. Of being definitely more on the shy, introverted side. Growing up somewhere completely far away from DC, not having any built-in connections at all. I never tell people to go to networking events. You'll see none of their success came from going to networking events or developing an elevator pitch. In fact, it's the opposite. It's not thinking about pitching yourself, but in reality, learning more about that person, getting that person to care about you, the human, and the journey, versus a pitch, which is all about what you've done in the past. So none of those things, those apprehensions I've listed, really will ultimately matter. So what I'm going to foreshadow here a little bit is on Thursday, which will be October 10th. I'm going to go live again sometime in the evening, hopefully around 8 o'clock. And I'm going to do one final lesson to really wrap your minds around the pitfalls of applications and how to make that pivot towards networking, which will ultimately is what's going to give you the success you want. But the real exciting thing about the 10th that you want to tune in for is I'm going to open doors for my famous Why Applications Fail free webinar. It's a webinar I've done in the past. I actually haven't done it since April, so it's been almost half of a year. But this is a really powerful free webinar that you can sign up for. I'm only going to open up about 75 spots, so they're going to fill very fast. But in that webinar, I'm actually going to take a full 45 straight minutes and just dive into my story, what worked for me, but more importantly, what's worked for hundreds of other people, and really kind of show you the pitfalls of the application world and how you can make that successful pivot into doing things that have always worked and will always work. Again, doesn't matter where you're from, if you're shy, whatever, this will work if you do it appropriately. So if you are ready for that, if you are excited, you are ready to say goodbye to applications and make a pivot towards something that's going to work a lot more effectively, I want you to type ready in the comments. A, that just makes me happy that I know people are watching this, but B, that lets me know to make sure to tag you in the final video so make sure you can see that. Facebook doesn't always alert you to these things. And also I can open up a conversation between you and me if we haven't had that already, which I always love to do. So hopefully this was just a little bit inspiring. Hopefully you'll check out that link I mentioned of some of our success stories, and you will be checking out my video coming on October 10th. All right, I'm going to go to bed. But thank you all for being here, and hopefully I'll be talking to a whole bunch of you really soon.